Hey there! Did you know Kroger always gives you savings and rewards on top of our lower-than-low prices? And when you download the Kroger app, you'll enjoy over $500 in savings every week with digital coupons. And don't forget fuel points to help you save up to $1 per gallon at the pump. Want to save even more? With a Boost membership, you'll get double fuel points and free delivery. So shop and save big at Kroger today. Kroger, fresh for everyone. Savings may vary by state. Restrictions apply. See site for details.
Introducing Royal Caribbean's newest ship, Icon of the Seas, the ultimate family vacation. The ultimate 6 slides, 8 neighborhoods, 0 compromise vacation. The ultimate never done that, can't wait to do it vacation. The ultimate chillin' by a different pool every day of the week vacation. This is the Icon of vacations. Icon of the Seas, arriving in 2024. Book today. Come seek the Royal Caribbean. Ships Registry, Bahamas.
Hello again, hockey fans. Are you ready to brave the wild? With me, your host, Paladino Joey, or Joey Awajan. Brave the Wild is available on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, PodMN, Spotify, iHeartRadio, TuneIn Radio, Stitcher, Audible, Double Twist. Thank you once and always for downloading and listening to this show. It is a great pleasure to be on board with you once again today. The Minnesota Wild had a very, very strong week, 3-0, and now we'll hear from the general manager, Billy.
Listen, you guys know what this is all about, right? Right? What's it all about? Spurgey?
Hard work, man. Fun.
That. This is about winning.
Sure looks that way, doesn't it? It sure does. They're all about winning, and that's what's going on right now, and it's a wonderful thing. Minnesota Wild are hanging out with the Calgary Flames. Most people will think, hanging out with the Calgary Flames, what, 7th, 8th seed? Oh, goody, 9th or 10th. Yay, we're hanging out with the Calgary Flames. Yeah, you know, both. But yeah, actually, no, both of us have been playing way the heck better. Daryl Sutter doing a fantastic job in Calgary, and a lot of those guys starting to live up to the hype because they were supposed to be good, damn it. Minnesota Wild, living up to the hype and kind of going above and beyond at this moment with Dean Evison, absolutely spectacular, 31 points. First place in 22 games, 15-6 with only one overtime loss. In the past, we'd have like 4 already of those because we couldn't play in overtime. We'd usually get beat because we can't skate well, and then we'd find a way to lose in the shootout as well, which is annoying and stupid. But, yeah, that's part of the game, unfortunately, these days. You got to get to the shootout if you can't score, but most of the time the Wild are able to score in the 3-on-3, so you don't even have to get to the fluky shootout against the Ryan Johanssons and such. Let's get off of that as soon as possible. Going to be a great show today. We're back to regular Thursdays again. Feels awesome. Minnesota Wild at the end of the Arizona game, as there were 3 games again. We're number 1 in goals. Right now we're 3rd, Minnesota anyway. That was after the Arizona game, though. The Wild were number 1 in the NHL in goals. Kirill Kaprizov, definitely a debated conversation last week, a very spirited conversation between myself, Derek Felska, myself, versus some other people out there that think any type of mild criticism towards Kirill Kaprizov. We weren't exactly bashing him. We weren't hating on him. We weren't saying anything that bad. We're just saying it's kind of a disappointing start. Well, we can kind of cool off on that for now because Kirill Kaprizov had an unbelievable week. And, yeah, it's crazy the pace he's been on. We'll continue to talk about that over the course of the show. But, of course, again, Kirill, an awesome week. Minnesota defeats the Winnipeg Jets 7-1. I'm going to try to not be so game and gamey, but you get the idea. I'll get into the games anyway. At the same time, Cam Talbot had a very, very sharp week. Trying to switch something here. I apologize. Cam Talbot had a very, very sharp week, generally speaking, as did Kaapo Kähkönen. Minnesota Wild did not give up a whole lot of goals, and they scored a hell of a lot. Against 7-1, butt kicking on Black Friday last week. Wow. Usually a Black Friday type of game, the Wild would find a way to lose, especially against Winnipeg. It might have been 7-1 the other way, or like 5-3. It would have been like, that was boring. That was dumb. Remember those games years ago, and those matinee Sunday afternoons, even into last season, against the New York Islanders, in the past. Last year we didn't play the Islanders, but I mean, a game like that versus the Islanders versus the Edmonton Oilers, you'd always come out being extremely frustrated, thinking that was lame, that was lackadaisical. Those days seem to be over. Yes, Jared Spurgeon was trying to say hard work and having fun, and that's when Bill Guerin said, bleep that, this is about winning. Well, it's hard work and having fun as well, but yeah, I agree with the premise there about bleep that. This is about winning. Kaprizov about bleeping winning with 4 points in this game. 1 goal, 3 assists. Remember, he had a game like that against Dallas just a couple days earlier. This is just Kaprizov definitely on a tear. Then you get some guys with sickness and injuries and such. Zuccarello will miss a few games after getting 2 goals versus the Winnipeg Jets. Really, really cool, fun performance. Let's look at Kirill Kaprizov just this past week, which makes you have a pretty easy guess who's going to win the Madonna Award. 6 points in 3 games. He had 4 points versus Winnipeg. 1 point, only 1 versus Tampa. Come on, man. Just kidding. A goal and an assist versus Arizona. He had 4 goals versus Dallas for about 4 games earlier, November the 18th. I can't believe that was that long ago, but 7-2. I still crystal clear remember getting our asses handed to us 7-1. Darcy Kemper and net versus the Dallas Stars in Dallas years ago. It's a different world, and it's a wonderful thing. It's what a wonderful world. Seriously, do you remember that? Yeah, I mean, I remember it. I have a good memory, and I remember just thinking, this is not going anywhere. I'm getting sick of this crap. It's like, oh, just flush this one out, yeah, and then flush the next one out, and then flush the 3 games from now out too, because we'll win a couple in a row and then have another stinker versus God knows versus the Rangers or something stupid like that, and a trap game versus Arizona or New Jersey. It was just so frustrating. It drove us all nuts. Come on now. Let's be honest. Stop with the fanboy crap, all of you out there that seem to love being fanboys and kissing up to everybody on the planet when, there were some times in the past that were extremely frustrating. But generally speaking, what an awesome season. And of course, nobody's going to be immune to criticism no matter what. That's why they're about bleeping winning. Bleep that, we're about bleeping winning. Yeah, you have to be held accountable if you're not playing well, you're not having a good run. Even Jordan Greenway showed up this week. What do you think of that? So good for him. Definitely good for him. You have guys like Dmitry Kulikov. I keep putting in the H when I don't need to. There has to be an H after the K to have that accent. I apologize. Dmitry Kulikov, though, he's on pace for a career high. Wow. Remember, he was a high draft pick many years ago for Florida. And then here he is with 10 points already. So pretty damn cool. He basically had become more of a stay-at-home guy, and he was like, just 10, 15 points every year, maybe 20 tops. 28 was a career high. And he's having a hell of a year thus far. 28th of November, a 4-2 win versus Tampa. Definitely a statement type of game in a lot of ways. You went against the Stanley Cup champs. And I know it's just one game and an 82-game schedule. You're not Stanley Cup champions in November. Amen. I agree with that 1,000%. But just saying, it was pretty impressive. And John Cooper, the coach of the Tampa Bay Lightning, who could have been on a major hot seat 2 years ago, or should we say October-ish, 2020, should Tampa have been upset again. He might have been in big trouble, but now he's got 2 cups to his name and his name on 2 cups as well. It's got to feel damn good for him. And he gave us some high praise, saying that they're a big and strong team, that really knows how to play. That's basically, paraphrasing. Corey Perry, now we're getting into the pear talk again, makes the wild field pear-shaped every time we play against him. He's had a hell of a career against Minnesota, like 41 points in like 50 games against Minnesota, 48 games, pardon me. Impressive, another goal, despite the fact he'd slowed down over the years. Anaheim Ducks, Dallas Stars, and blah, blah, blah. Now he's on the Tampa Bay Lightning, still cup chasing. Don't blame him, though. He did get a cup way, way back at the beginning of his career. Hell of a player. Pain in the ass to play against, a lot bigger than you think. His face from a distance makes him look like a smaller guy, but he's not. And yes, he did absolutely win a Stanley Cup with Anaheim, 06-07, 44 points. He played every bleeping game that year. So he was hoisting that cup way back in his early days. But a fun, entertaining, awesome night for the Minnesota Wild. The Ryan Hartman goal was just sick. Absolutely sick. Pitlick was able to get his 5th assist on the season. Kirill Kaprizov with an absolutely great pass. Ryan Hartman kind of catching the puck, receiving the puck and turning around and releasing it in beautiful fashion. I mean, the guy looks like a legitimate goal scorer. He looks like a legitimate center. I would have never said that. He looks absolutely great. That was a wonderful feeling. Also in the Tampa Bay game, Brandon Haim had a moment where he had the puck, he fell, and he had the state of mind to recover and make a really nice pass to Jonas Brodin, which actually set up a legitimate scoring chance. He was one-on-one with our friend Vasilevsky. He was one-on-one with Vasilevsky. That was awesome. An awesome pass by Brandon Haim from the ground after falling. I was like, oh, come on, Brandon. I just called him. Yeah, it was it was a funny moment, but at least, hey, it was a hell of a play. And he really had some strong state of mind there. It just shows his skill set and everything. Brandon Haim, absolutely spectacular from Parkland. Love what he can do. Nick Bukestad had a hell of a goal as well. Again, looking like a legit goal scorer with the patience and the quick release, getting it just over the shoulder of Vasilevsky. Absolutely impressed with that one as well. Man, that was fun. Kaprizov to Hartman goal, that was so much fun as well. That was awesome. We'll talk about Arizona shortly. Again, Kirill Kaprizov did have an incredible week. Again, 6 points in 3 games. Really appreciate what he was able to do. And at this moment, Kirill Kaprizov's point totals are at 25 points in 22 games. He's now at 7 goals. Some people are believing that he might end up with a goal-scoring lead by the end of the month. I believe that was Phil Mackey. Yep, it was on the Mackey and Judd show. Phil Mackey picked that one. That was a prediction. Let's see if he's right. That'd be cool. Hey, nobody's rooting against Kirill Kaprizov. We were just not super thrilled with the start of the season. That's all. Nobody's rooting against Kirill Kaprizov. Do you really think we want him to fail? Do you really think that? That would be crappy, wouldn't it? Wouldn't that be crappy? Wouldn't that be like same old Minnesota? Our friend Dan Minnesota would, all of us know about that stuff. Is, the same old crap. Like, here we go. We're all excited. We're ready to rock and roll. And guess what? Another disappointment after one good year. Like, it just happens time and time again. Miguel Sano looked like the next David Ortiz. And then he was not. He was the next, I don't know, Casey at the bat. Mighty Casey has struck out. That's basically the end of the story. When it comes to Miguel Sano, there I go jumping off into something else. Kevin Fiala, during the course of this week, kept racking up assists. Still no goals, though. At least none since November 21st, only 3 on the season. But he has been racking up assists. We appreciate what he's been doing there. He's actually 4th on the team in scoring now because he's got 12 assists, which is tied for second. Tied for second with Alex Goligoski, who's had an awesome season as well. He's earning that paycheck. And, hopefully he's willing to take that discount next year after getting that big $5 million payout, because he'd have to take a discount in order to stay, unfortunately. Because a couple of players are going to have to. They're even saying like Matt Dumba might have to, after making $6 million a year for 5 years. Matt Dumba's case, because of the salary cap situation. Kevin Fiala, though, good strong week, I'd have to say. I thought he was solid most of the week. Again, many chances. Just couldn't get anything to go in. He hit the post against Arizona. The effort's there, the energy's there, the skill's there. It's not like he's screwing up. He'll turn the puck over a bit, which is where the frustration came in with Dean Evison and himself. But generally speaking, the overall talent is very, very much evident. It would suck to see him get traded. It would suck to see him go as a free agent, but it might end up happening that way. A couple assists versus Winnipeg, 1 versus Tampa, 0 versus Arizona, and he was actually a -2 versus Arizona, so that's quite unfortunate. 3 points in 3 games, though, for our buddy Kevin Fiala. 82 point pace, right? Okay, I'll get off of that. That sounds a little silly, doesn't it? Yeah, but absolutely love what he's brought. Again, fun night versus Tampa, and to get high praise from Coach Cooper makes you feel like $1 million. Thank you, Mr. Cooper, and maybe we'll see you in the finals. Maybe. That would be nice. And he was talking about how that, he was kind of talking about that. It'd be an interesting matchup someday, maybe if we were to face off. So we'll see what happens. Minnesota, though, good solid game versus Arizona. kind of off to a crappy start. Arizona had been playing a little bit better lately. Guys like Jacob Sygren has been putting in the points, and the overall play of the Arizona Coyotes has been significantly better. There's no question about that. There's no question. They were able to score early. Kind of a similar goal to Ryan Hartman, quite honestly. Phil Kessel was the Kirill Kaprizov, and Clayton Keller was the Ryan Hartman on his goal. It was pretty nice. Like a nice pass. Phil Kessel with the patience and the turnaround release, turnaround wrister, you could say, from Clayton Keller. It was quite impressive. Put Arizona up 1-0, and they had a little more energy than the Wild early on. But luckily, Minnesota would catch on and get rolling after that. Kaapo Kähkönen was in net, which is good. I want to see Kaapo Kähkönen. Declan Goff made this statement also on Judd's Hockey Show. Yeah, I keep shouting out to them nonstop without even meaning to. Just, I agree with a lot of the things they say, to be quite honest. Kaapo Kähkönen, he wants to see Kaapo Kähkönen in net once every 3 games or so, and I'm with that. I think Minnesota needs that. Obviously, Cam Talbot, if you overuse him, we've seen what happened with Devin Dubnyk. We really saw what happened with Nicholas Backstrom. Talk about breaking down. But then again, Dubnyk broke down pretty much as bad as Backstrom. I mean, it was like Wile E. Coyote trying to run into a tunnel that wasn't there. It was just a painted image. That's what it felt like. It was bad. It was bad. The player of the game, I would say, versus Arizona, you could say Kähkönen. He faced 31 shots. He stopped 29. Minnesota, though, really started peppering Scott Wedgwood as things kept going. Minnesota, again, 5-2 win down the stretch. Jordan Greenway, 3 points, though. He was active. He was solid. He was strong. He had 2 assists in the game. He'd finally scored a goal. He was just barely able to tip that thing in. But, hey, he'll take it, and 10 out of 10 times, I'm sure he will. That was, it looked like a goal for John Merrill. Wound up being a Jordan Greenway goal, Kirill Kaprizov with a really nice goal as well. At first I thought someone else might have tipped that one, but luckily Kirill Kaprizov was able to bring that one in. And good play, 7th goal of the season. Joel Eriksson with his 9th. Kulikov again continuing to get the assist. Goligoski, Hartman is just everywhere. He's the MVP of Minnesota, other than Kirill Kaprizov. It's pretty much between those 2 guys. They're duking it out for the Hart Trophy, I guess. It's those 2 guys. It's not Connor McDavid or Leon Draisaitl or anything, who we'll be talking about in the second segment. It's not those guys. It's Hartman and Kaprizov. They're the Hartman Hart. It's going to be the Hartman Trophy when it's all done. That's how good Hartman's been, right? It's going to be I think you get it. Right. Great 3-point game, though, for Jordan Greenway. Nice to see him playing a bit better. He's like, Brandon Hame's going to take my job. Matt Boldy's going to take my job. I got to step up a little bit. Got to step up. Well, I mean, if you get traded, maybe you'll get a better chance on a different team. Like maybe you wind up in Ottawa, and they get better before you know it, and blah, blah, blah. Maybe you wind up in Edmonton to help out a couple of superstars. Maybe. Could happen. We'll see how willing Minnesota's willing to trade with the Edmontons and the Calgarys of the world. Maybe more of an Ottawa, or like East Coast, Eastern Conference type of team, like a Detroit even, where Greenway would probably have a bigger role with like a Detroit versus a Toronto. Maybe he'd get some good action in Toronto, maybe, but there's just so much talent there, he might get buried. So it's just, there's so much talent in the pipeline and the grapevine and such with Minnesota. Somebody's got to go, right? Unless we're planning on trading away Matt Boldy. I don't know if you want to do that. That might be a massive mistake, to be quite honest. Ryan Hartman, what a deal. Oh, I still can't get over that. $1.5 million. That was like back when, guys like Andrew Burnett were making like 1.5, 1.7, 2.1, stuff like that. That was years ago, of course, when, Andrew Burnett could have easily been making $5 million a year nowadays. But it's just, obviously, that's how it was. It was a bit cheaper 20 years ago. And it's, unfortunately, that's how it goes. Just look at our salaries in the workplace nowadays. I mean, and you still feel like you're making, $11 an hour when you're making 20-ish, or so on and so forth. I'm just making numbers up as you go, but it still feels that way. And then you see someone just walk in the door and they're making $18.50, $20. Like, what? They haven't done a damn thing, and they're like 1/4 my age. Okay, not that young, but young. It's annoying. Let's keep going. Seriously, let's keep going. Again, nice win for Arizona. Nice win versus Arizona. I'm hoping that team steps up, though. That would be great. I think the Wild might have the best fourth line in the NHL. So impressed, really impressed with the Wild fourth line. Again, Duhaime, Sturm, and Bukestad. Wow, what a nice physical, skilled, awesome line. Oh my God, I love that line so much. How can you not love those guys? Sturm obviously centers that one. Duhaime and Bukestad, don't break them up. And then there's the other line you never want to break up either. It's the modern geek line because, of course, Luke Kunin's not there anymore. It's Foligno instead, who's not a geek. He's like the opposite of a geek, but you get the idea. Jules Eriksson, Jordan Greenway, and Marcus Foligno. You don't want to break that line up either. Strong defense, physicality, and success. Like Marcus Foligno. Look at his numbers. What does he have? 9 goals already on the season? That's awesome. And obviously the leadership is so obvious what he brings. I mean, he could have the C on his chest. Seriously, he could. I honestly think right now he is the captain when Jared Spurgeon is not playing. I think he is the captain de facto, so to speak. What is he? He's 5th on the team in scoring with 15 points, tied with Kevin Fiala. That's funny. 9 goals, 6 assists. He's got his 41 PIMs. Ooh, he's got those PIMs. Let's call them penalty minutes, but PIMs. What's the difference? Just say penalty minutes. Leads the team in hits, and leads the team in leadership, leads the team in so many ways, and he can score. He just does a bit of everything, and back when he first came here at almost $3 million a year, it was like, what? That much? He's just this fourth liner who's okay, and he wasn't that good his first year, and ever since, though, he's been absolutely great. Absolutely great. Just keeps getting better. Every year he gets better, and it's so much fun to keep up with and debate about and all that. Right now, they're considered the second line, which I think is totally fine. Foligno looks like a top 6 type of player right now, even though he's middle six, generally speaking. Final topic we can have on this one, again, other than Kevin Fiala hitting the post, getting snake bit with that, but sooner or later, I got to think he's going to score a ton of goals. He might have 5 goals by the end of the month, 5 goals in December, I'm saying, if not 7 or something like that. Don't be surprised if that happens, actually. Don't be surprised at all. Final thing, Mikko Koivu, before we move on into the next segment, might as well talk about it now versus any other time. Mikko Koivu, I'll try to keep this fairly short. He's going to have his number retired. There's a bit of a debate with that with Wild fans. So many Wild fans think it's the greatest thing ever and blah, blah, blah. He's the leader in every statistic and this and that. But you got to remember, though, Sam Mitchell was the leading scorer for the Timberwolves for the longest time. And would everybody be in a rush to retire Sam Mitchell's number for the Timberwolves before Kevin Garnett, everybody thinks, yeah, that's the other one. Everybody thinks he's God Almighty, which is also not true. Best player in Timberwolves history, yes. Is Koivu the best player in Wild history? I don't know about that. Probably not. And obviously, he's not going to be if Kaprizov hangs around. Obviously, hangs around a bit longer. And of course, some of these other guys that pop up, like Rossi, Boldy, and such. And it's number 9, which is a very famed number. Of course, not just because of Madonna, but because of guys like Gordie Howe and such. And you'll be losing that number forever. I understand it's Mikko Koivu and what he's meant to this organization, but was he the best leader ever? I mean, I'm not the only person up here saying this. Unfortunately, the fanboys are outnumbering a lot of us out there that are a little more objective. The fanboys out there that want to, pound you into the ground. They want to stampede you and smash you and stomp you and trample you into the dirt if you dare to say, Mikko Koivu, maybe we should hold off a little bit on this. I'm not saying wait 10 years to retire his number. Like some teams, I mean, look at the Edmonton Oilers, how long they waited to retire Lowe. It's unbelievable. It's absolutely crazy. Kevin Lowe, I mean, how long has it been since Kevin Lowe's played? So that's pretty crazy. They won, 4 cups with Kevin Lowe? 4 cups with Kevin Lowe. 4. Koivu won 0 cups. Koivu went to 0 conference finals as well. The Wild went to the conference finals after he was drafted, but he wasn't here yet. We went to the second round twice. Again, put that into perspective. Kevin Lowe was a damn good player. Obviously, he wasn't Gretzky, he wasn't Messier, he wasn't Yari Curry, he wasn't Paul Coffey, but he was a damn good player. He was probably the second best defenseman on that team. Koivu, I know it's a shitty comparison. I get it. But again, I'm saying don't wait 20 years. But wait a little while. Maybe wait a little while on it. And in some cases, a lot of people would tell you, don't retire it at all, be Ring of Honor, because it's such an important number. He's not a Hall of Famer, and they did not win the Stanley Cup. with Hiko Koivu as like the leader of the team. He's not a Hall of Famer. That's just a fact. That's just a fact. Eric Stahl might end up getting there, but obviously you're not going to retire his number either because he didn't win the cup here. He didn't play here during most of his career. If he played in Carolina and they retired it, I wouldn't have a problem with that because they won a cup with Stahl and he had a hell of a career overall. Koivu, he's a Hall of Fame gritty player in that sense. If there was a gritty, solid Hall of Fame, he would definitely be in it. One of the better defensive centers in the NHL. He was up for a Selke award once and didn't get it. That's the other thing. He wasn't up for it that much. He wasn't up for that many awards. He made the All-Star team once. Again, it's not about bashing him. It's just about looking at it objectively and not through just Minnesota Wild shades. You have to be a little more objective about it. I'm trying to be reasonable. I'm not trying to be an ass and trying to push him down and shove him into the ground. Obviously he wasn't always good with the media, only after they won. It was stuff like that. One thing that would make you feel better is that he completely understood the move when Bill Guerin let him go. He was pissed off at the time, of course, but he understands it now, and that was kind of cool to hear him say that. As he's like, look at this team, look how well they're doing. I mean, look at Bill Guerin did. He wasn't making a mistake. So it was time to move on. It was absolutely time to move on. I'll probably get back into this some more, maybe into the fan interaction and such. Wouldn't be surprised if somebody brings it up. Maybe I definitely welcome Derek to talk about it some more. Obviously, I'll probably have him on the show at some point in the not superly distant future. It's just funny how both of us have those kind of funny. Both of us have the schedules like magically when one is not busy, the other one is. It's just how it is, though. I mean, obviously, because he's a school teacher, so during you could call it the cooler months of the year, not warm months of the year, except when you get closer to June, he's working. He's working in the morning, and that's when I would be available during, let's say, the end of November all the way to April. I'm available in the mornings. And then during the lawn season, I'm not. And then it's back to 2 jobs again, that type of thing. So that's how that goes. That's the reason why I haven't been able to have many guests on the show, especially Derek, who I'd enjoy to have on the show as a fairly frequent guest if I had more time. But if eventually someday that second job may fade away. So we'll see. I can't do that forever. Sorry for babbling about my life a little bit there, but had to maybe let people know the reason why maybe I'm always solo. Even though I very, very, very much enjoy being solo, but at the same time, it's good to have somebody on and hear their perspective as well, especially about somebody like Mikko Koivu in such a hot debate right now. And it's a debate that could be still had 2 or 3 years from now. There's no problem with that, honestly. The Mike Modano Award winner for this episode is Kirill Kaprizov. There's no question he had a great week. Congratulations for responding to us. Keep responding to us, Kirill. Come on, Kirill, you're disappointing. Keep responding. See, if I keep saying he was disappointing, maybe he'll get 6 points again this upcoming week. That'd be great, or 8 points. Yeah, you're disappointing, Kirill. Yeah, I know, obviously. The James Shepard Memorial. This week, it's like I'm not really mad at anybody. I know I would sound milquetoast. I really sound milquetoast when I do that. Capo Kakinen was solid. Talbot was so good. You could say the injury bug, the sick bug, is kind of a pain. We'll call it the sick bug. Is now Frederick Gaudreau as well. Is in COVID protocol. Zuccarello's been out again, which is annoying. It sucks, but hey, at least we're hanging in there very nicely, despite the fact we're missing him. I can't give Jordan Greenway. I can't give it to him. I don't think any of the defensemen are really that bad. Obviously, love John Merrill. Jordy Ben's okay. Why kick on it? Why kick him in the face? He just got a chance to play a little bit, and he wasn't bad. What is he, a +4 on the year? So I'm gonna just kind of say the sick bug. We'll just call it the flu. Basically, is what the the flu is. The Johnny. I called it Johnny Flynn. Jordan Shepard, James Shepard Memorial for the show. With that said, we'll take a quick break and preview a few games, and then look at the prospects, and then fan interaction segment number 3. we are back here on Brave the Wild, segment number 2, preview, and then look at the prospects. We got 3 games to preview as we head into the month of December. New Jersey Devils come to XL Energy Center. I should back up here really quick. New Jersey Devils in XL Energy Center. Toronto Maple Leafs come to the XL Energy Center. Welcome, Eastern Conference teams. We missed you. And Northern Conference, or Northern Division, North Division, the Norris. That's the real Norris, Toronto. And then we play the Edmonton Oilers after a 2-day break, Sunday, Monday off. Edmonton Oilers in Edmonton, Alberta. Looking forward to that big time. New Jersey Devils, they're kind of they're 9-7-4. They're kind of getting back into being somewhat competitive again. Jesper Borgqvist has an upper body injury as of November the 20th. Tice Thompson, shoulder injury, April the 13th. Christian Jaros, hand injury. That doesn't sound good. Maybe it's broken bone, maybe. Or a contusion, as people might say. November the 6th. Frederick Gaudreau, that was COVID-19. My apologies. I'm getting it mixed up with other players here. Matt Zuccarello, upper body injury, November 26th. COVID protocol for Frederick Gaudreau on November the 30th. And Jared Spurgeon, lower body injury, left the game on November the 20th. The Wild are 3rd in goals. New Jersey 22nd. New Jersey's 14th in goals against. 25th in assists. Shooting percentage 20th. The Wild are 2nd in assists, 4th in shooting percentage. Isn't that nice? Penalty minutes were slightly better now at 29th versus 31st, which was really bad. New Jersey's 13th in penalty minutes. Penalty kills 22nd. Power plays 29th. So, not that great. Obviously not a great team. Minnesota didn't play so well against them last time around, but still got the win. Hopefully we can continue to do that. New Jersey is 2-3 in their last 5 after losing to beating the Tampa Bay Lightning 5-3, losing to the Wild, of course, on November the 24th, losing to Nashville 4-2, 4-2 win versus Philly on the 28th, and lost to San Jose 5-2 recently on the 30th of November. Minnesota's 4-1 with the 4-game win streak at the moment. Would not be surprised if the Wild are able to successfully sweep this team. Winning in New Jersey, I got to think it's harder than winning in the X, even though we've had some funny, crappy moments in the X over the years. There's just something different about this team. It's hard to doubt them at this moment, though. Of course, no team is perfect, and of course, those losing both of those games to the 2 Florida teams a few weeks back was not too surprising. At the end of the day, that was about a week and a half ago, is what I'm trying to say. And that was what it was. About a week and a half ago, Florida and Tampa, and then the Wild won 4 games in a row with some days off in between. That's one of the reasons for the gap here. I was like, wait a minute, was it already that long ago? And yeah, it was. A couple days off of the gap and everything. New Jersey, though, the Wild should be able to get the job done again and sweep this team. I will say yes, because you got 2 tougher games coming up. So if you're only gonna go 1-2, you better win this one. Hopefully the Wild go at least 2-1 though. If you're gonna go 2-1 is what I should say. You better take care of this one, because Toronto and Edmonton is not gonna be that easy. Though we'll see what happens there. Minnesota is gonna win the game. Final score 4-2 versus the New Jersey Devils. Might take a Foligno or Brodin or Dumba empty netter to wrap it up, but I don't think we go to the shootout this time. The Wild win 4-2 versus the New Jersey Devils. Most likely got to score. Who do you think it's going to be? Who do you think it's going to be? Kevin Fiala is going to score his 4th goal of the year versus the New Jersey Devils. Minnesota wins the game. We'll continue rapido if I can possibly do that. Toronto Maple Leafs come to town. They're 7th in goals, 4th in goals against. They're good at everything. Power plays 8th, penalty kills 7th, penalty minutes they're 3rd. They are getting the job done. Jack Campbell, former Los Angeles King, he backed up Jonathan Quick forever, and he'd have some mediocre moments because that team is just weird. They're not real good. Wow, Jack Campbell's taken the reins of that goaltender position. He's been in 19 games now. He's dominating the position. Joseph Wool's out a couple of good games, 3-0 actually as backup. Or Peter Mrazek, who's had some awful starts, just 2 of them. Michael Hutchinson, wow, remember that name. You're with the Winnipeg Jets and such. Jack Campbell, though, 13-4, 1.72 goals against average. Save percentage, 94.3, 3 shutouts on the year. Whoa, that's going to be a tough match. Tough one. Tough match up, not match. This is not soccer. I'll take hockey 10 out of 10 times over soccer. Sorry, I'm doing that. And I'm saying it right to your face. John Tavares, 11 goals, 14 assists, leading the way for the Toronto Maple Leafs. The captain leading the way in scoring, leading in everything except for goals and assists, I guess. Never mind. Austin Matthews has the most goals at 13. He's been great, obviously. Mitch Warner has been really good. 15 assists on the year. It's a hell of a team with tons of talent. And, man, with Jack Campbell doing as well as he's done, and this team just kind of dominating puck possession, Toronto looks freaking dangerous. 5-0 in their last 5. Whew, wow, shutting out the New York Islanders. I think I know who was in net for that one. Wow, on the 21st. That was in New York, by the way. Not easy. In Los Angeles, Jack Campbell saying, screw you guys. 6-2 win, if he was in net in that game. I think he was. 6-2 win, though. Crushing Jonathan Quick and the Kings, who just need to move on at goaltender, by the way. They need to move on at goaltender. I'm sorry. He's Devin Dubnyk now. It's time to move on, okay? San Jose Sharks beat the Sharks 4-1, beat the Anaheim Ducks 5-1. And then, what is going on? 8-3 over Colorado. Darcy, are you okay? Darcy, are you okay, man? Wow, that's bad. That's bad. And then it looks like a significant amount of time off. 3 days off to play the Minnesota Wild. The Wild do not win this game. The Wild have a 5-game winning streak come to an end, unfortunately, versus the Toronto Maple Leafs. This does not mean the Wild can't beat the Maple Leafs in a 7-game series. This does not mean the Wild can't compete against this club. It doesn't mean anything necessarily. Toronto is damn good, and I do think they'd be a very tough out should Minnesota play Toronto in the Stanley Cup final, which would be really cool. And I mean, beyond cool to see both of those teams in the Stanley Cup final. But Toronto's going to end up winning the game 3-2. I mean, they're going to score. I got a bad feeling. I hope Talbot, I don't think you're going to put Kakinen in it. I hope Talbot doesn't get beat too badly. Oh, I got a crappy feeling. It's going to be, I think it's going to be like 5-3 Toronto. They're going to score goals. It's going to be 5-3 Toronto. Most likely got to score for Minnesota will be Marcus Foligno. He'll get a goal in the game, I believe, at least his 10th goal of the season, if he didn't get one versus New Jersey. Minnesota, though, does not beat Toronto. 5-3 loss to the Maple Leafs, as I'll continue forward here. One of my favorite teams, only because of just, the good old days with the Edmonton Oilers, the 80s Oilers. I always bring it up. Have you ever heard of the 80s Oilers? Yeah, I love that. I love it. Love the team, the history and all that. But obviously you want to beat them now. And yes, they have their Lemieux and Yager situation going on. Of course, yeah, both of them are centers, so slightly different situation. More like Gretzky and Messier, I guess. Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl. And I'll say this, I believe I've said it before. I think Leon Draisaitl is one of the most underrated players in the league. No matter how much credit he gets, think about it. He's actually outscored Connor McDavid a few times. Just let that sink in for a minute here and realize how good he is. He's actually been the leader in scoring more than once in that club, and I don't mean just goals, I mean everything. December the 7th, of course, that'll be the first one. It'll be a 3-game series, January 12th and April 12th. Cool. It's nice to be playing the Edmonton Oilers, Calgary Flame type teams again. It's so much fun. You just feel alive again. You really do. Cody Ceci, COVID protocol as of November the 30th. Duncan Keith, former Blackhawk, upper body injury as of November the 23rd. And Darnell Nurse, who's been a little bit of a wild killer historically, fractured finger as of November 19th. So I guess we won't have to worry about him. Edmonton continues to be excellent, though, and I'm glad they're good, because if Edmonton sucks, that's not good for hockey. Connor McDavid, Leon Draisaitl, not on a good team, that's a waste. They have the best power play in the league and the 3rd best penalty kill. Whoa, that makes a big difference. They're actually 4th in goals for, I just said that, goals against their 15th. That's actually better than us, which is funny. Both teams are tied for 2nd in assists. That's kind of crazy. And look at the shooting percentage, 4th and 2nd, respectively. Edmonton is unbelievable offensively, but they're pretty good defensively, too. Penalty kill's 3rd. Their penalty kill is 3rd. So they have got to be the best special teams in the NHL with the best power play and the 3rd best penalty kill. outstanding. Goaltending is mediocre, generally speaking. Mike Smith has been hurt, unfortunately. He's been out forever, so it's been Mikko Koskinen, like it or not, for quite a while now. He's 12-2 because they're scoring in front of him. He's giving up 2.82 goals and a 91.4 save percentage. That definitely helps with a great penalty kill in front of you. No shutouts on the year for any Edmonton goaltender. Draisaitl with 41 points with 20 goals. He's actually ahead of Connor McDavid. What did I tell you? 20 goals, 21 assists. McDavid, 15 goals, 25 assists. Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, is he on the wing? Is he playing third-line center? He's been on the wing generally, so what am I talking about? He's generally been on the wing but been successful in the power play as well. He's just a very valuable guy. 12 power play assists. Wow. Connor McDavid has had a couple of insane highlight goals on the season, and don't be surprised if he scores against us at some point. But we won't have to worry about Darnell Nurse doing that at the moment. I know he was a wild killer in the past. Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, the third leading scorer, has half the points of McDavid and Draisaitl. It's kind of funny. Again, he was also a number one overall pick years ago before Connor McDavid. Draisaitl was he third? Oh, the two teams that didn't take him. Let me tell you. Edmonton 4-1 in their last 5. They beat the Chicago Blackhawks 5-2 on November the 20th. Lost in Dallas 4-1. Beat Arizona 5-3. Beat Vegas in Vegas. And again, it was in Arizona as well, 3-2. And then beat Pittsburgh 5-2 just recently. Pretty cool. Damn impressive what Edmonton's been able to do during the course of the season. For some reason, it's strange. Whenever Edmonton's good, the Wild play well against them. And whenever Edmonton... Okay, but obviously it's a different era. Completely different, so maybe I should throw all that away. But I got a feeling the Wild beat Edmonton. I've got a feeling. It's going to be an awesome matchup between these two teams. Obviously, either team can get the job done. In the past, I would have said Edmonton rolls over the Wild. But I think the Wild beat Edmonton in this game. I think so. I think it's going to be something along the lines 4-2, 4-3. Might go to a overtime period where... or a shootout or something like that, where Kirill Kaprizov or Kevin Fiala is the hero, which is what would happen. I'll go with Kirill Kaprizov is going to be the most likely guy to score in this one. Number 97 versus number 97. Very, very cool. And I think it's awesome. Two of the greatest players in the NHL right now. I really appreciate what both of them brings to the table. I believe both of them were born in 97, so that's part of it. Yeah, both of them were born in 1997, so that's part of it. That's a lot of times what it is, but whatever. Obviously it's cool if Kaprizov is honoring Connor McDavid, but I think most of it's the year they were born. That's my guess. I think I get a question about that, actually, in the fan interaction segment. With that said, though, let's get off of this and start looking at the prospects, eh? And let's get into those prospects right now. And as usual, we're going to open up with the Iowa Wild. And all you got to do is pretty much click on Matthew Boldy and load that from there. He's been great. Matt Boldy, Matthew Boldy, however you want to say it. We always appreciate what Boldy's able to bring. About 2 points a game so far. With the late start to the season, again with the injury. Unfortunately, in Boldy's case, 4 games, 6 total points, so just under 2 points a game at this stage. Keelan Addison's back up with Minnesota has actually been playing forward, which is pretty cool. That was interesting to see. He certainly got the skills, and again, that's what happens when you have sudden people getting sick, like Frederick Gaudreau. So tough situation there. And Damien Giroux still stuck at 4 points. Actually, yeah, I believe he got 1 point. He had 12 games. Last time I did the show, he had 3 points. Now he's at 15 games and one more point added on, so that's good, I guess. Joe Hicketts continues to be dominant on the power play, 13 points in only 14 games. Marco Rossi was hit in the face in a kind of a cheap shot against the Henderson Silver Knights. That was not a good moment at all. Very, very frustrating. Hopefully he's okay, but still absolutely dominating. The one complaint about him moving to the next level is that he hangs onto the puck a little too much. That's what I heard from Pat Micheletti. Basically, that was his comment generally about it. And yeah, I mean, I could see that a little bit, but generally speaking, the skill's there, and that's something that can be adjusted quickly, I think, in his case. It's just, it's a faster game at the NHL versus the AHL. It's just that simple. Like anytime with any sport, baseball, basketball, everything's faster. NFL, from like minor league to the professional. Even though the AHL is not too far removed from the NHL, to be quite fair. Mason Shaw, 13 points in 15 games, continues to be wonderful. Nick Sweeney's definitely cooled off from a spectacular start, but still, 12 points in 15 games is nothing to sneeze at. No doubt. Adam Beckman, 8 points in 11 games thus far. Again, late start to the season for him because he was too busy in the National Hockey League. He was too good for you guys. Okay, sorry. Again, Andrew Hammond, 3 shutouts on the year, 2.14 goals against average, 5-1. Again, after a crappy start. Derek Baribeau, 3 goals against. Again, he's kind of all over the place, but when he's good, he's very good. Derek Baribeau has his good moments. Cody McLeod stood up for Marco Rossi during that crappy moment as well. Really appreciate the wily veteran, 37-year-old, he must love the game very much, because to be hanging out in the AHL like that, on the third and fourth lines of the AHL, and getting in fights, protecting young players. Thank you, Cody. I appreciate that, honestly. I do. They're happy to have him, I'm sure, in a big way. Matthew Boldy looks, in a lot of ways, he looks like he's the most ready out of all the prospects in the AHL. Matt Boldy's the closest to the National Hockey League. Like, he could just jump in right now. It's just, again, it's a roster situation. You can't just, force him in there necessarily. So that's the situation. Somebody's probably going to have to get traded at some point. Obviously, Boldy, though, if he's as good as he appears to be, he's going to have to be in the NHL regardless. Like, somebody's going to have to get scratched or traded. It's just that simple to get Matthew Boldy in the lineup. So that's just how it goes. I'll attempt to go to the other minor league club this time around. Just kind of jump into that. As far as I have to find where I'm going here, with Bryce Misley. Misley, who's actually done a hell of a job. He's doing really well for the Iowa Highlanders. Unfortunately, the team kind of, with all due respect, kind of stinks. Like, they've been losing every game. They stink. They can't stop. They can't stop anybody or anything right now. But Bryce Misley, to be fair, he's been scoring. He's been getting points. The only guy who's leading him right now is Chris Bennett. He's the top line center. Bryce Misley's in the second line center, basically. And only 21 years of age, out of Calgary, Alberta. 13 points in 17 games. Again, this is the ECHL. They call it hockey purgatory, but it's still there for a reason. And when you have some good prospects that are, you have tons of prospects in the AHL, and you have ones that need to play, get significant action, thank God for the ECHL. And some of these guys, you never know. They might climb the ladder all the way up. Again, it's like guys like Hunter Jones, who, is a legitimate prospect. He's not really ready for the AHL, so at least there's the ECHL for him. And there's spots taken already. That's the whole point. So that's where a guy like Alexander Hovhanov, instead of rotting on the third or fourth line, he could be up there on the top 2 lines in the top 6, which is a better way to go about it, and get the job done. 6 points in 8 games. Alexander Hovhanov is now finally becoming a factor in the prospect system outside of the juniors now. So now he's actually in professional hockey. Couldn't shake it in the KHL last year. But, in 8 games, 6 points so far, 2 goals, 4 assists, and hoping for the best as Alexander Hovhanov continues to get better and better. Number 11, huh? Number 11 for Hovey. Number 11. Are we gonna say screw you, Zach Parise? No, I don't think they will. I don't think they will. I'll leave that alone. I better shut up and get off of that. But nice to see Hovhanov and Misley doing well in the ECHL at the very least. The Iowa Heartlanders. So cool that we're all in Iowa. That's kind of good. Keep everybody in the same place. It'd be even better though if it was all in the Twin Cities, wouldn't it? St. Paul, Minnesota Wild. Maybe it's the St. Paul Wild for the AHL team, or the Minneapolis. Now let's stay off of that. I wouldn't mind the Golden Valley Heartlanders. You build an arena, and it's not going to happen. I better shut up now. I just wish, wouldn't that be cool? Let's attempt to go to college, if humanly possible. Jack McBain, that's the best route to go, against senior for Boston College. Was unable to get a point this past week. In fact, nothing really took place here. Nope, he didn't. Yeah, he was unable to get a point this week, but still 19 points in 14 games. Nikita Nesterenko is climbing up a bit. He continues to get better and better. 11 points in 14 games. Boston College actually did not play this past week. Certain colleges did and certain ones didn't. Boston College did not play because this is the same 14 games, so I apologize for that. So that's my bad there. But I do not. Obviously, the Gophers played and they split against North Dakota. That was a fun, entertaining matchup at the very least. I do believe University of Connecticut did play. Yeah, and they did. Vladislav Firstov, again, junior for University of Connecticut out of Yaroslavl, Russia, with 8 points in 12 games. He's mostly a guy that focuses on offense, from what I hear from Spoke Z and such. But generally speaking, he's definitely an offensive player. I'm not sure what to make of him. We could see him in the ECHL probably at first, depending on how many top prospects are in the AHL. That's kind of the whole reasoning, or that's the whole question there when you look at that. So now we'll quickly move into Europe and juniors and such. Let's go with juniors for now. Pavel Novak, WHL. He just continues to get better and better. 23 points in 18 games, 10 goals. He's got a nice shot, good overall abilities. He's a plus 10 on the year for the Kelowna Rockets. Pavel Novak, 5th round pick in 2020 by Billy G. Matvey Guskov, he's actually in the KHL. He's been okay, adequate, 6 points in 23 games, so he jumped into Europe there for a split second. I thought he was, he's still in the KHL. That's where he is. Again, not spectacular numbers. Sam Hench's only 5 games so far, and unfortunately, he's not been healthy, and that sucks. But 5 points in the 5 games, point a game for the first time in his career as a senior for the National Runners up St. Cloud State, unfortunately, but hurt, which sucks. Let's go to his teammate real quick, Jack Pert. 6 points in 10 games. He's been missing action as well, and that sucks. I've been kind of bouncing through college, and so some of these teams played, some of them didn't. That's what gets kind of, confusing and such. And obviously in the juniors they all play because it's in Canada, so, and they have their own Thanksgiving in Canada. That's why they make sure to let us know. Guys like Isha Jerome, American Thanksgiving. I know. God bless Isha of the Soda Pod. Damon Hunt, and of course Hoppy as well, locally here in the Twin Cities. Damon Hunt, 14 points in 18 games. Obviously continuing to bring what he does for the Moose Jaw Warriors. Got a wonderful future. He's definitely going to be an offensive defenseman. I mean, he's got a little bit of Dumba in him with that big shot and such. He could be a solid player, but I think I'll stay off of that. I was like, you never know though. If Dumba becomes too expensive and we have to let him go, which I don't think they're going to do. They seem to absolutely love him, and he loves it here. But if they're unable to keep him for whatever reason, Kalen Addison, Damon Hunt are the kind of guys that you might be looking at. And, of course, Carson Lambos long term. He has just been absolutely nuts. Carson Lambos, but he's on the left side, so that's another way to look at that. Damon Hunt is actually left as well. So, Damon Hunt, I think he could play in any situation, honestly. I think he could be on the third pairing. He could be on a top pairing as things go forward. Ryan O'Rourke is kind of the same way. Extremely solid. 31 penalty minutes, definitely a leader there for the Sioux Greyhounds. He's the absolute captain, 16 points in 19 games, only 3 goals, but leading that power play, though, when need be. Definitely has offensive ability at times. Now we can go to the Winnipeg Ice with Carson Lambos. What a stud. 18 points in 19 games thus far for him, 5 of them goals. Jasper Wallstedt still stuck at the same number, so that's interesting. So I'll kind of leave those alone for now. Kadian Bankir, 19 points in 19 games, 8 of them goals. Kadian Bankir, absolutely love that guy. The Kamloops Blazers, Josh Pilar, he's my favorite prospect right now, other than Carson Lambos, you could say. Josh Pilar, 27 points in 19 games. Can't wait to see what he can do in the AHL or ECHL, whatever it is. Let's say the AHL. I really want to see Josh Pilar coming to the pros as soon as possible. I think there's so much ability there. Honestly, not sure why he slipped as far as he did. Nate Benoit got his 2nd point this past week. Yes, Nate Benoit. 2 points now in 17 games for the Tri-City Storm. Congratulations, Nate Benoit actually scored a goal. He had an assist, now he's got a goal. Good for him. Marat Kuznetsov still stuck at 11 points, now 29 games. So he's certainly quieted down in the point production, but still bringing that energy and that defense and creating scoring chances for teammates. But yeah, I mean, it's obviously it's a work in progress. He's got serious talent, but it's going to take a little while for him to get here. Obviously, a couple years away, but once he's here, we're going to really enjoy what we got. And you have a legitimate center for many years to come, along with Marco Rossi and Ryan Hartman, who I still can't believe it. He's the best center on the Wild right now. He's the best center on the Wild, even better than Jules Eriksson Ek, which sounds weird, but he is. Back to Europe, Philip Johansson and Simon Johansson, 7 points for Philip in 22 games. Can't really babble too much about him. Simon Johansson, again, he had 7 points for Ilves Tampere, and now it's unknown what's going on in Jardins, and that's where he was before. He's been kind of back and forth, been moving around a bit in the Swedish hockey leagues and such, so kind of unsure what to say with Simon Johansson at the moment, but hopefully there's still NHL in his future. I kind of doubt it. I think if either one of the Johanssons makes it, it's probably Philip to the NHL, and he'd be a third pairing guy. I don't really see him being a second pairing, so definitely not worthy of a 24th pick, but still, if he's a legitimate NHLer, what the hell? Why not? What the hell? We're enjoying the third pairings we have right now, but of course they're not going to be here forever. That's just an unfortunate fact for them. With that said, we'll take a quick break and return for fan interaction. And we are back here on Brave the Wild, segment number 3, fan interaction. It looks like I got a good number of questions here. I can't thank Derek enough. Derek Felska at Crease and Assist, says, got a burning Minnesota Wild question on your mind. Just ask Brave the Wild. Tag your questions. Hashtag BTWMN. Hashtag BTWMN. That's what you got to do in order to jump in. And you're free to do that anytime during the course of the week. You don't have to look for the bat signal if that's what you're looking for. That's totally fine. And in a lot of ways, maybe it's a reminder for some of you. But if you want to, you can just put the hashtag anytime. Hashtag BTWMN. Anytime, though. It seems like usually people need a little bit of a reminder at the end of the day. Derek jumps in right away at Crease and Assist. That's where he writes. He writes a blog for the Minnesota Wild. Lots of times game reviews or stories and such. Really well done. And is not a homer. That's a good thing. Not a homer. You don't get the classic, team propaganda nonsense that a lot of people like to put out there, and get offended anytime somebody doesn't worship every player on the roster with the name Koivu Parisi Suter. You know what I'm saying? Derek Felska says, the New Jersey Devils just signed Jack Hughes to an 8-year, $8 million a season contract extension. Do you think we are headed to another NHL lockout? Maybe. Because Jack Hughes, has he lived up to the hype so far? Let's be honest, okay? Am I a bad hockey fan now? Not just a bad Wild fan for saying Kaprizov wasn't good at the beginning of the year, even though he's improved greatly since the last couple of weeks here. 8 years, $8 million for Jack Hughes. Has he been that good? I barely even noticed him out there. I barely did. Lafreniere, has he been anywhere near it? And obviously it's early, this and that, but Connor McDavid was great right away, like all the hype and all that. Connor McDavid, Sidney Crosby, they were both great immediately. Like, there was no wait. A lot of these guys, they're not living up to the hype. They're just simply not. 8 years, $8 million. Ooh, we might be, and I sure as heck hope not. Hopefully the TV contract helps. That might help, but I don't know. I really hope not. I think the TV contract might help with that, but we'll just have to wait and see, I guess. God, we've had enough of that, haven't we? There was actually literally a labor dispute during Thanksgiving, or like around Thanksgiving for a few months last year when the season didn't start till January. That was actually a labor dispute, which obviously Derek knows, but some of you maybe may or may not. That might be more casual fans. Derek Felska says, what are your thoughts on Jordy Ben's place in Jared Spurgeon went down to a body injury? Was it good to get him playing time, or should we have given Kalen Addison that time instead? I'd rather see Kalen Addison, frankly, but if Addison's going to keep getting better in the AHL, so be it, I suppose. It's kind of I kind of have a mixed opinion on that one, as Addison's obviously still super young. Jordy Ben is just kind of what he is. He's a seventh defenseman. I say the more Kalen Addison plays, the better. So I'll lean in that direction. Next, K-Fan Girl, welcome aboard. She says, I understand that we don't want to burn contract years, but wouldn't it be beneficial for the future, as she puts parentheses, to find out what it's like when we put Rossi and Boldy with Kaprizov and or Fiala instead of trading away Fiala because he's streaky? Maybe his line mates stink. That's not a bad take. I would love to see at least Boldy with Fiala. I would love to see at least Boldy with Fiala. It'd be really interesting if Boldy, Fiala, and Rossi, that'd be really, really cool. I think that was put together a couple times in the preseason. It was pretty cool. It was pretty damn cool. I would not be against seeing that. It sounds like they want to be patient with Rossi at the moment. Maybe he's got to get his quickness going. Obviously, the skill set is very much there. He's dominating the AHL, but it's going to be a speed adjustment, quickness, not speed, quickness adjustment for Rossi to the NHL. That's what some of the talk is. Where I think Boldy's ready right now. Boldy and Fiala together with, Ryan Hartman, Joel Eriksson-Ek, even Fred. I won't say that name. Maybe not him. But he is a good passer, Frederick Goodrow. But yeah, I would love to see Rossi with them. But it sounds like that's one of the reasons for the delay on Rossi at the moment. Derek Velska says, does retiring, here it is, does retiring Captain Clydesdale, number 9, make the Wild look foolish? Should we have retired number 9 for Alexander Daig instead? He was at least first in something. First overall pick. Hashtag somewhat sarcasm. Oh, it makes us look pretty empty at the end of the day. It's like, obviously Mikko Koivu was better for the Wild than, say, Sam Mitchell was for the Timberwolves. But again, Sam Mitchell did lead the Wolves in scoring all time for an extended period, for quite a while, before Garnett did pass it. It's pretty crazy when you think about that. It does show how empty our history is, with certain guys that only stay for a little while, or they wouldn't live up to their hype, or we didn't sign anybody, or whatever the heck it was. It was mostly just bad drafting, really, was the main problem with the Wild for many, many years. And then Chuck Fletcher finally struck gold in the 5th round with Kirill Kaprizov. And now it looks like Paul Fenton with Boldy, and Guerin with Rossi, and obviously Beckman also with Fenton. Could be really, really cool. We'll see some more gold possibly with Guerin in this year's draft as well. It doesn't look good necessarily. No, I'm not against that thought. I'm not. It doesn't look so great. It makes us look kind of desperate in a way. But again, I have nothing against Koivu in generally speaking. But let's just say inside conversation with Derek only. Basically, I agree with a lot. I agree with pretty much everything he was saying behind the scenes. Koivu's history with the Wild really isn't all that rich and great. It's not. I'm just going to leave it at that. Next thing, Derek says the Ottawa Senators just put Matt Murray on waivers for the purpose of being traded. Should the Wild be even remotely interested in perhaps a Victor Rask for Murray deal, as State of the Hoppy suggested on the Soda Pod? Like, dislike? I'd be open to it, but I think I'm okay with Kakinen at the moment. The only reason I would go after Matt Murray would be to say I was disappointed in, if Cam Talbot was to fall off the face of the earth. Because I'm not ready to move on Kakinen. I think there's something there, at least as a long-term backup, who can start, that kind of thing. Who can start for stretches as well. That's the one reason I might not be interested in doing that, because I don't want to push Kakkonen down. So it's not the dumbest idea. Murray obviously won a Stanley Cup with Pittsburgh. He was very good. He's been kind of all over the place. So I'll say a very moderate no at this moment. Jay Bushy, welcome back to the show. He says Russo has said that the Wild can't afford to re-sign Fiala. If a Fiala-JT Miller trade opportunity becomes available, would you be in favor of it? Yes, I would. Obviously, JT Miller plays a position of need. I think he would help the Wild a lot. It would be a damn shame, though. I think Fiala has a higher ceiling, even though JT Miller is really good. Obviously, there's some serious talent there. He's a 70-point type of center. So, at center, obviously, is a position of need, even though it looks better now because Ryan Hartman looks like a 70-point center. But is he, though? Is Ryan Hartman a 70-point center? I don't know. That's hard to say. Let's see how long it lasts. And, of course, Joel Eriksson is not a 70-point center. At best, he'll be 50 to 60. 60 would be really, 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 really high, I think, for Joel Eriksson. Spectacular defensive player. I think he might be a Selke Award guy. Derek has another one, says, I think the Canucks are going to want a lot more sweeteners for that. That's the other thing. I mean, Fiala might have a super high ceiling, but Miller's a position of need. That's where there's a little bit of conversation there. Looks like there's a little extra mixed in here. Tom Hayen says, would be surprised. Miller making 5.2 this year and next. He ain't taking a discount when his next contract comes due. Would have to move more money out the door. Yeah, that's the other side of it. Oh, yeah, that's the other side of it. It's going to be really an interesting situation. Because, yeah, you trade people, you're going to have, you get somebody back, and they make money, and they're going to want money. That is a very interesting situation. Jay Bushy responds to Tom saying, Miller is a center making similar money to Fiala. We need some further depth in the middle. I think you'd have to kick the tires on this and also see what his demands for a future contract would be. I really don't want to lose Fiala, but center depth is needed. Yep, as we put the explanation points. I'm not against kicking the tires and maybe kind of back channel conversations and such. It's not always the prettiest thing, but interesting. Oh yeah, and thanks Derek for sharing that as well. Yep, sharing Tom Hayen's comment. Ooh. That is a tough situation, isn't it? The salary cap situation is not going to be easy. The one positive of it, well, guess what, folks? Matthew Boldy, Marco Rossi, welcome aboard. Adam Beckman, let's go. Let's do it. You want it? You got it.
Okay. That's the way you want it. That's the way you're going to get it.
Jonathan Winters from It's a Mad, 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 Mad World giving you his opinion on that. And yeah, that's the way you want it. That's the way you're going to get it. And yeah, it is. Let's get to Brian Herrera. He says, all right, I got a tough one for you this time. How many goals will Hartman get this year? This guy has been so clutch for us, and I think half his goals are late game tying or game winners. Hell yeah. That's a good one. How long is it going to last? He's got 12 already. Does he have 30 goals in him? Oh, 25. I'll say 25. I'll say 25. That's reasonable. 25 is freaking awesome for Ryan Hartman. And maybe he ends up racking up the assists as well, and he ends up having a 50-plus point season. That'd be awesome. 60, 70 from Ryan Hartman would be great. I'm not sold 100% that he's going to be a 70-point guy, but if I'm wrong and he gets to 30-plus, more power to him. That's freaking cool. But right now, I'll stick with 25. Derek Felska says, rank the Wild's TV play-by-play broadcasters from best to worst. Current or all-time? That's the one thing. Probably all-time, maybe? Play-by-play broadcasters. Anthony LaPenta. And then there was Herrera. Mike Goldberg's number one. LaPanta's kind of a middle of the road, number two. And Terahar is number three. Even though Terahar was fine, but I think I like LaPanta a little more. That's the TV play-by-play broadcasters, right? So, yeah. Radio, obviously, it's been Joe O'Donnell now. They score! That's the only thing I don't like is how he says scores. Otherwise, I think he's really good. And then Bob Kurtz is a legend. Kurtz still has the lead for that just because he's a legend, obviously. But that's the radio, so I apologize. Let's keep going. Mike I hope I answered the question properly there. That is probably all time, right? Obviously, the color commentators, you got Wes Walls, Ryan Carter, Lou Nanny's been in there on occasion, just here and there. I think I like Ryan Carter a lot as the color commentator. I mean, I like Walls too, though. Some people don't like him, some people do. I'm okay with Walls. Carter might be the best, I think, out of that group, out of the color commentators. I think maybe Ryan Carter. Mike Moko V65 says, here is one that has not been asked. How do you think Kirill the Thrill will do? How do you think he'll feel going up? Oh, here we go, going up against Connor McDavid. I don't think it's a coincidence he chose number 97. Mostly it's because of the year they were born, but yeah, at the same time, yeah, I wouldn't doubt there's an admiration for Connor McDavid as well. Hell of a passer when it comes to Kirill Kaprizov, and obviously Connor McDavid's a hell of a passer, hell of a playmaker. It's going to be a lot of fun. I think he's going to really enjoy it, and I think he will score a goal at least against the Edmonton Oilers. I think he scores at least a goal, and he has a multi-point game against the Edmonton Oilers. What do you think of that? The way he's playing right now, it's going to be thrilling to be blunt. It's going to be thrilling to add a pun to it, I suppose. With that said, thank you guys so very much. Going to give a few shout-outs to Minnesota Wild Global, Minnesota Wild Nation. Great Facebook pages. Recommend you join those and interact with Wild fans on there during and after games and before games and blah, blah, blah. MNW Prospects. MNW Prospects, I'm very happy to be a part of it. I would cover the Q, the Quebec Major Junior Hockey League and BCHL if the Wild had prospects in them, but they don't at this moment. I'm sure they will in the future. And I'll be writing for the page and Twitter when it comes to prospects in those leagues, those two junior leagues, which I really, really enjoyed doing. And looking forward to some more prospects heading in that direction in the future, because I'm sure they will. I don't think it's going to be like we're staying away from the Q forever. Why would you do that? The Q is great. Pavel Bennett, Justin Bakke, Brandon Cost, Chad Walski's been on there. Marek Skyba's been on there in the past as well. Really appreciate all of you. Really appreciate it. Love being a part of that. Again, Derek Felska at Crease and Assist in the daily, the Sports Daily part of me. I'm getting it mixed up with the Daily Face-Off. That's where you look at the lines and such for the Minnesota Wild. You can even look at salary cap situations there. But yeah, the Sports Daily part of me. That's where Derek writes for Crease and Assist. And of course, his wife, Teresa Ferries, also writes on there as well, previewing games for the Minnesota Wild. Really appreciate all the interaction. Love all of you so very much. Please write a positive rating for Brave the Wild on iTunes/Apple Podcasts or Audible or Stitcher. Those are the three applications you can actually review the show. If you could do that, I'd really appreciate it. And I'll thank you very much. I actually did get a recent one on Apple, and I better get to that right away. I forgot. It was on there last week, and I forgot to bring it up. I apologize to you, and I thank you very much. Let's get it right now here. I'm just kind of struggling. Come on, let's go. There it goes. Rusty McTrusty, thank you. On November 11th. Happy Veterans Day, by the way. He says, let's go Wild. Great content on in-season happenings as well as prospect updates. Great listen for any Wild fan. Thank you very much, Rusty McTrusty. Really appreciate you. Big time. I appreciate that very much. And for those of you out there willing to do that, please do. Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, or Audible. Those of you that have done that in the past, thank you so much. And those of you in the future that are willing to do that, thank you in advance. It's worth its weight in gold or platinum or whatever super precious metal you can imagine. I really appreciate it. Tell your friends about the show if you could. Oh my, and I got to bring up Vig It application. The Vig It application. VIGIT, social media for sports bettors. You can post about your picks, see what others are saying about games. Vig It Betting League is a month-long betting competition to see who the best sports bettor is over the course of the month. Free-to-play sportsbook, bet free coins, win real prizes. Betting stats, there's great information available on the Vig It Lifeline movement where the public is betting. This is not real money wagering. It is basically fantasy betting where you can compete against your friends and colleagues and such. It's a lot of fun. Highly recommend it. Also encourage you to join Crypto.com. I will put a referral link in the show description. Crypto.com if you want to get into cryptocurrency. You go in there and show that I referred you simply by clicking on the link and downloading the app and all that. we will each get $25, which again would help this show, and you get $25 free right away to start trading cryptocurrency. And $25 in the crypto world is a lot more than you think. Let me tell you, it is. I'm not kidding. I've made money off of tiny amounts in the past trading cryptos. So highly encourage it. Highly recommended. Get on there and get on that today. With that said, hope all of you are enjoying the Christmas season, holiday season, Christmas season. I call it Christmas season, but call it whatever you like. Lawn cleanups are finally done. I can finally keep up with this on a regular basis again. Hopefully the Minnesota Wild continues to kick some butt. I can't expect them to win every game, so I've got to go with 2-1 this week. Until next time, take care and go Wild.